Every year, as the rainy season creeps into the highlands of Panama in early April, locals whisper of cries echoing through the hills, cries said to belong to the Dutch girls. Whether myth or memory, their sorrowful wails are said to drift down into the misty valleys below. These stories are strongest in the mountain village of Baque, nestled in Panama's western highlands. Known for its pine forests, crystal lakes, and meadows that resemble the Swiss countryside, Baque attracts thousands of tourists each year, offering a peaceful refuge far from danger, or so it seems, but in 2014, that illusion was shattered. Too. Young women Kris and Lisanne had spent months saving for what was meant to be the trip of a lifetime, a 6-week journey to Panama. The plan wasn't just to explore, but to immerse themselves learning Spanish and volunteering to help local children in the remote town of Baque. On March 15th, full of anticipation, the pair landed in Panama. Unbeknownst to them, their adventure would end in a mystery that continues to haunt the world. Lisanne, born September 24, 1991, was tall over 6 feet and known for her athletic, adventurous spirit. She played volleyball, hiked, and even tried skydiving. Smart and curious, she had recently earned her degree in applied psychology and had taken up amateur photography. She lived in Amersfoort, a city in the Netherlands, where she became fast friends with Kris, born August 9, 1992. Kris was the more outgoing of the two, vibrant, artistic, and always up for a challenge. She was studying art history and loved acting and amateur theater. They bonded over a shared love of travel. Determined to see Central America together, they worked at a cafe and eventually moved in together to save money. Within months, they had booked their tickets and promised their families they'd return safely. The first 2 weeks of their trip were spent exploring the sights, soaking up the local culture, and enjoying the tropical climate. But on March 31st, when they arrived in Baque to begin their volunteer work, they were surprised to learn they had arrived a week early. Faced with 7 unstructured days, the two decided to make the most of it. They planned a hike through the Green Mountain Highlands and the nearby Vulcan Bar National Park, home to the popular Pianista Trail, which leads to a lookout point called the Mirador, perched on the Continental Divide. From there, waters split, flowing either toward the Pacific or the Caribbean. The hike is famous for its views, bird life, and lush cloud forest, often shrouded in mist. For Kris and Lisanne, it seemed the perfect mini-adventure. On the morning of April 1st, around 10 a.m., the girls were seen having breakfast with 2 Dutch men they'd recently met. It would be the last confirmed sighting of them alive. They posted on Facebook about exploring Baque that day, then set out with minimal supplies and a dog named Blue, who belonged to the host family they were staying with. Photos from Lisanne's camera later recovered show the girls smiling and posing along the trail. The weather was perfect, and by 1 p.m. they had reached the Mirador, the highest point of the trail. They were lightly dressed, with no indication they intended to go far. But that afternoon, Blue returned home alone. Kris and Lisanne did not. The following day, they missed a scheduled appointment with a local guide. Concern grew quickly. Back in the Netherlands, their families stopped receiving texts from the girls. On April 3rd, villagers began searching the area and local police joined with their support. However, many claim that authorities weren't truly involved until April 6th, coincidentally the day the families, Dutch investigators, and search dogs arrived. Despite hundreds of volunteers, no trace of Kris or Lisanne could be found. The official search was called off after 10 days, but many locals continued searching privately. The girls had seemingly vanished without a trace. 10 weeks later, a local woman from the indigenous Engi tribe walked into Baque with a bright blue backpack. Inside were some of the girls' belongings: sunglasses, a water bottle, $83 in cash, Lisanne's passport, bras, both their phones, and her camera. Remarkably, everything was dry and in working condition, odd for something supposedly left near a river. Authorities quickly focused their search on the nearby jungle, where they discovered a pair of Kris's denim shorts nearly 2 miles upstream. Some said the shorts were neatly folded atop a rock. Others claimed they were found floating. Soon after, one of Lisanne's boots was located. Shockingly, it still contained a portion of her foot. Over the following months, at least 33 bone fragments were found in the area, including parts of Lisanne's pelvis and Kris's ribs. Bones from 3 unknown individuals were also found. Many suspected foul play. Forensic analysis of the phones revealed repeated attempts to call emergency services, 7 in total, all unsuccessful due to lack of signal. The first call came just hours after the hike began at 4:39 p.m. on April 1st. After April 3rd, the phones were turned on sporadically, likely to check for signal. Lisanne's phone went dead on April 5th. Starting on April 6th, Kris's phone was turned on multiple times, but attempts to unlock it failed. A total of 77 failed PIN entries were made before it was turned off for good on April 11th. Then there was the camera. The first 11 photos showed nothing unusual, just the girls smiling during the hike, but then, in the dead of night on April 8th, between 1 and 4 a.m., over 90 photos were taken. The images were eerie: trees, rocks, plastic bags, and scraps of paper. One picture showed the back of Kris's head, possibly with dried blood in her hair. No photos were taken during the daytime, and photo number 509, captured between the last daytime image and the first nighttime one, was mysteriously deleted. Was someone trying to hide something? The prevailing theory is that the girls got lost after crossing the divide, heading deeper into the jungle. Once they realized their mistake, they attempted to call for help. It's believed that Kris may have suffered a serious fall on April 5th. The repeated attempts to access her phone afterward with the wrong PIN suggest Lisanne was trying to use it after Kris was no longer able to. Perhaps Lisanne stayed by her injured friend for days, then finally tried to find help, leaving markers or using the camera flash to navigate in darkness. She likely died of injuries, starvation, or exposure shortly after. The discovery of her foot in a boot, along with fractured bones, implies a possible fall, but not everyone is convinced from the beginning. Inconsistencies plagued the case. Why would the girls go the wrong way at the divide when the trail back to Baque is clearly visible? Why were their belongings clean and dry after supposedly being in the wild for weeks? And what about the rumors? A 2016 article revealed that a local tour guide, known for being overly friendly with female tourists, had allegedly offered Kris and Lisanne a private tour and overnight stay just a day before they disappeared. They declined. Some locals claimed he followed them. Suspiciously, he later found parts of their remains, and his ranch is located less than a mile from where they were discovered. Other strange details emerge. Over 30 different fingerprints were found on the backpack. Some say the woman who turned it in showed it around before handing it to police, but this was never confirmed. There was also the condition of the remains. Kris's bones appeared unnaturally clean and white, as if bleached despite being in dense forest, and there were no visible bite marks or scratches. Even though scavenger animals were common in the area, forensic experts expected tissue residue on the girls' clothes, yet found none. Was someone cleaning up? Panama's government had reason to downplay any criminal theory. Tourism makes up a major part of its economy, contributing nearly $4 billion annually. Suggesting foul play, especially involving a local, could have been damaging. There's even speculation of a serial predator operating in the region. Since Kris and Lisanne vanished, at least 25 other cases of disappearance or unexplained death have been reported in the area. 2/3 occurred in just the past few years. And what of the 3 unknown individuals whose bones were found near the girls?